Greetings, everyone. I hope you're having a fabulous, fabulous night. Before we get into videos about Adorno and Tavistock again, I thought it might be nice to look into, and this is fine, anyone can go here, just going straight to the Freedom of Information Act, CIA.gov. And here we've got some documents. We've got the assassin making document. It talks about Project Artichoke right in here. So this is about assassin making. They were wondering if people could do this. Would the subject be able to perform an act of attempted assassination without knowing it? Could they be under the influence? So there is something worth kind of digging into, as it were. It's a historical collection, it says, but I'm sure that this project never ended. What do you think? I don't think it did. I don't think it ended at all. Looking into one of the gatekeepers, it's fun when the gatekeepers even tell on themselves. Here we've got the New York Slimes, as they call it, right? And they talk about 80 institutions used. But when I read it, they're very cagey about it. You know, they don't like to name the names, but there you've got, I think that's Sidney Gottlieb or something. So here we are at some really, really tiny print. So sorry about this, everyone, but it's got some really interesting stuff. I came to this crazy site because it was the only one that's really talking about Tinker Air Force Base, which was kind of one of my faves to look into, I think, just because, like, it's Tinker Air Force Base, and what they created were what they called Tinker Bells. And the Tinker Bells were, they kind of stayed young, and it's weird with trauma. I think with some trauma, you forget everything, but with some trauma, there's just a huge amount of photographic memory. Wow, they're talking about Vegas. There's like so much in here. This thing, Disney World, just, oh my God, this thing is all over the place. So I'm going to be going into that more. It was weird because when I looked it up, when I typed in the Tinkerbells, it was kind of creepy because it also had a thing about Tinkerbell's wardrobe opens at Tinker Air Force Base, and it was saying that they wanted to provide the enlisted spouses of active duty with Tinkerbell outfits. So I don't know. But yeah, that is something we must look into deeply. You know, I just wanted to really get new information as well. I don't want to get locked into my own view or whatever. I want to see what else is out there. And I was typing in Evergreen State College, just, and it's always comes to just ads for them. But I thought I would try it again, and here we've got it listed under this wild list of things, from hotel snuff circuits to Queen Elizabeth to twinning and monarch slaves and, um, just really on and on big list here. Of course, including Hollywood everything. And it mentioned here Evergreen State College, CIA suicide camp. And I was like, wow, that just, it fits so well, it hurt. And I don't even know if I've done like enough like vids about it. There was a time when I was just sort of telling people about it and, talking about it, but I don't even know if I made videos about it. But Evergreen, maybe I mention it, was known as like a #1 suicide spot, but also known for that they covered it up. And it was just wild to see that, because I felt that there. I felt feelings I'd never felt before. I think I told you all, I lived in Chicago. I'd been living in Chicago and walking by obvious murder spots at night as a teenager. We used to, kind of go out and then realize, oh my God, we've gone too far, and we'd walk through alleys. I don't think I ever once saw another person in any of those alleys, but they were dimly lit and with puddles and, so to kind of come from that kind of rollicking to, oh yeah, you've got a Buddhist monk there. You've got, oh, it's interesting. They've got the Maharishi. And that was so disappointing. It's always interesting when we learn more about people. And I saw something about George Harrison's wife, and she thought they were going over there for love and, be yogis and spirituality. And the real reason George Harrison went there was he wanted to be like deemed a god so he could have multiple wives or something. Just really weird. So this was just kind of a strange thing, but I just kind of wanted to bring up some of this side stuff as well, and then we will get back into the meat of things. But this is, and I don't know, I'll say, excuse me, I don't mean to be coughing. Take it with a grain of salt, or don't take it with a grain of salt, or whatever it is. The transformation of America is, goes all the way. It goes all the way there if you haven't read it. About a woman who says she was a sex slave and she names names. She just goes all the way. And she always had to go through the service entrance to buildings, and it was because it meant that it was serving us, right? Us being them, of course. And another sort of similar book, I think it might be less well known. Again, I'm not saying if it's true or not true or whatever, but these are people who, she felt that she was an MK Ultra kind of computer slave. And so that fits in with the, she may have been a Tinkerbell, Bryce Taylor. She was kind of always, to be youthful and to remember everything. And she was this kind of human computer, a human Google for Kissinger, and then dealt with Bob Hope as well. And thanks for the memories. Yep, thanks for the memories. So that would be someone who would be like a Tinkerbell type, who would have the memory and the youth through trauma, of all things. And so here we are I thought let's just look at Evergreen. And one thing that really struck me in all the pictures that they have of it, I only saw one that had like people in it. Is that weird? See, here's another one. Yeah, and even in the summertime, there's like summer programs. Is there anyone there? It's weird. Like the one thing that's different about it now, when I went there, there were always people around. There were many less buildings, but there was kind of a weird game people would play called Hacky Sack. See, the one picture that they have with people in it, um, it's weird. It's like there might be some kind of event going on. It looks like it's a class or something. But again, see, look at that. There's just, and that is something that's odd to me when I go there, because when I did attend the college, there were just boatloads of people at Red Square, MK Ultra Red Square, all the time, just constantly. Even at night, there was just always, and lots of people. There'd be big groups of people kind of huddled together, 10 or 15 at a time of just mass people congregating there. It was this kind of mega congregation point. So that to me is just really strange. That it's kind of like devoid of life. Tell me if I'm wrong. But, and also we will delve more into these things like the Adorno and Tavistock. It all ties together, and Lord knows where it's going. But the Evergreen State College, the CIA suicide camp. Wow. So is that where they send people they just want to off themselves? What on earth are they talking about, my dears? Let me know what you think. But look at it. Look at that little isolate place. It really does drive one to madness if one's there in the winter. Much love.